Today on Amazons, we're going to be talking about something that it might sound like it's strange to some it might not be the norm, but it's, would I call it a phenomenon that's kind of not as uncommon as a lot of you will think. We're talking about marriage and sleeping in separate beds.
Sometimes they sleep in separate bedrooms, not because they don't like each other anymore, not because they don't love each other anymore. It's just because they want still want to be in control of their space. Just because they want to be in control of their privacy. Just because they want to be able to sleep well at night.
I had somebody say something about when you have issues, that because you're in the same bedroom, you resolve it faster.
Yes.
It might not be 100% correct. Because we've also had instances where the man and the woman had issues. If they had been in separate rooms, that woman would not have died.
Sleeping together helps also bond together. It helps us to knit together. It bonds us together. Even when we are quarreling, you just find out that you can't sleep well, okay, until you make peace with one another.
One thing you should realize is that apart from sleeping in the same bedroom, you must look good.
Okay.
You must look fashionable.
Yeah, like you do too, of
yeah,
course. We can
to
tell
your
you're a
husband.
fashionable woman.
You must look fashionable.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm not trying to be sugar-coated, but I don't see any woman that can rub shoulders with me with my husband.
I love that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Amazons.
What an exciting bunch you all are, my co-host. It's Friday night, and as usual, it is your exciting show, The Amazons. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes as well. And my name is Omasambuwa, and as always, I have with me these lovely ladies, and we're all going to, we're all going to do this together. I have Aisha Faladay. Yeah, you should. Looking like a, I don't even know, like a little girl.
Yes, with my ponytail.
With your ponytail, And as always, my lovely little sis, the naughty one, Silo, MM. So today on Amazons, we're going to be talking about something that it might sound like it's strange to some it might not be the norm, but it's, would I call it a phenomenon that's kind of not as uncommon as a lot of you will think. We're talking about marriage and sleeping in separate beds. Why would it be that couples, for whatever reason, would be sleeping in separate bedrooms? Because the image you have once you get married, you're both sharing your cozy room. I don't know, Aisha, do you know anybody that does that has a separate
A lot of couples these days, they sleep in separate bedrooms. I
Why?
think they just realize that they still need their space, even though they are married and they are one. Need a space of your quiet moments, need a space of your own habits, need a space of your own, your space of, you know, how you keep your things without getting on somebody else's nerves. But, you know, they say when you get married, you become one, you share everything. But sharing everything can also become an issue, especially when the habits are not in the opposite.
Yes.
You might have a wife that is very organized,
And the husband
is not so organized. Is the one that throws things around, and it's not tidy. You know, it becomes it might turn to a problem. Whereas the wife might be complaining, and the husband would think that he's been nagged by the wife.
So, Sila, Aisha has just given us some scenario more or less related to the domesticated side of, you know, maybe women being a bit more tidier, or I don't know, or men being. Do you have any other reason why?
I don't agree with her that women are tidier, because I've seen a lot of men tidier than their wives are. That might be the reason why the man moves out in the first place.
Yes.
You know, because a lot of women are known to have a lot of property, shoes, clothes. By the time so the clutter tires some people, and then some men like a man cave type thing.
Yes.
They want to have their stuff in a certain way, keep it a certain way, and so some men don't even sleep in that cave. They come back for their me time and come back. If that is right, is another topic of discussion. But what works for some people might not work for some other people. You know, and then some people have bad sleeping habits.
Like flying leg syndrome?
No, like some people that have that drink a lot, when they come back, they want to sneak into the. There are different reasons why men, you know, choose, or when they start having babies, when women start having babies, some women insist on putting their babies on the bed. Some men excuse them and they move out.
Even before the babies come. You see, a woman with so many stuff, a woman is by nature very organized. Although I'm not saying that all women are, most women are. Not all women, especially these young girls of nowadays. They are not
organized.
As domesticated.
Yeah, but in the older generation, the woman will want to arrange her clothes, color coordinates.
Yes.
The whites have to be here, the skirts have to be here, the suits have to be here, even the undies in a certain way, the shoes.
Yes.
You will find a man who comes in, throws one shoes here, the trouser is on the other side, the towel is on the floor. Do you know?
And the woman will have to pick up after him.
Picking after the man all the time. So if he has his own room, he can do whatever he wants in the room. But then how do you then arrange for there to be such an arrangement that will still bring them together as husband and wife?
Well, while
they share, you know, separate bedrooms.
We're going to be talking to, you know, about all these kind of scenarios. We have some guests with us who are going to, there are some people that will say, God forbid, I must stay, me and my husband, we sleep in the same room. And there are others that are more, would I say modern or liberal or, you know, anyway, but we're going to be talking to them right after this very short break. Go get a cup of something nice. We'll be right back.
It's this spiritual, you know, aroma that goes within us as couples when we sleep together. We bond, we blend. It's a spiritual thing more than physical thing. It helps us to stay together.
Don't you go to work?
No, madam, literally speaking, you go to work, you leave the same bedroom, you have the same, you share the same bath, you share everything. Yes. You go to work, you come back, you enter, you make the food.
That means you've been at least 8 or 10 hours apart. No. And you would have missed each other.
No, but what about couples that...
Whether you sleep together or not, whether you sleep together or not, you are still going to have to go to work anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for being right there and not touching that remote. Just before we went on break, we were having this interesting and robust conversation, Aisha Silo, and you had different views on people share bedrooms, either the woman is not tidy or it's the man that's meticulous. You know, you both had your own
Sometimes they sleep in separate bedrooms, not because they don't like each other anymore, not because they don't love each other anymore. It's just because they want still want to control, be in control of their space. Just because they want to be in control of their privacy, just because they want to be able to sleep well at night and not worry about, you know,
when did he creep in? What time did he creep in last night?
All different things. There's something called the flying leg syndrome.
No, but you should be used to that, but I'm sure if you've been with someone for a video.
No, you know, I actually read it, and whereby monarchs don't have to go through that. That's why Prince Charles and the Queen, Prince Philip and the Queen sleep in different separate bedrooms. So anyway, we're going to
before Philip
but we're going to catch up on that later. Right now, we're going to have our first guest. Joining us now on the show is, I think she's strictly for cuddling up with Oga at night and clinging on to each other. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Princess Layo Okeowo. Welcome, sorry for keeping you waiting so long.
Welcome.
Princess Okeowo is a loving housewife and an industrialist who is today looking very, very preppy in your lovely orange and the traditional outfit. Thank you very much, ma. So, Aisha, Silo, and myself, I don't know if you've been listening to the conversation, and it's about, we'd say, I think 42%, statistics say about 42% of couples thereabouts do sleep apart for various reasons, but you are not for that.
No.
Oh, did you say no?
No.
Okay. Give us your why. Why would you not experiment sometimes?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Once again, my name is Layo Okeowo. I'm married, and I'm an industrialist. And I'm proud to be married. I'm proud to be sleeping in the same room with my husband. First and foremost, I know the young children of nowadays would rather say they prefer to sleep separately.
Separate bedrooms.
But whatever we are doing in life, our children, they must be happy, and they too must have happy married life. I believe as parents, our children are our mirror. Whatever we do, they watch us.
Definitely.
The way we do. And if we as parents, if we decide to be sleeping separately, we are not setting a good example
you think?
to our children. Because if you look at so many divorces that are happening these days, things like that leads to divorce. Because if you sleep in the same room with your husband, I'm not saying I'm a saint, that I don't quarrel with my husband, but if you sleep in the same room with your husband, your quarrel will never last.
Oh, you mean it's easier resolved
it's
behind
easier.
those bedroom doors?
Yes.
Okay.
It's easier to resolve. You might sleep, your leg can
back each other.
Back each other. At times it might be a mistake. It might be something that is intentional. But for all you care, you just find out that you are talking to each other again.
At least saying good morning in the morning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing you should realize is that apart from sleeping in the same bedroom, you must look good.
Okay.
You must look fashionable.
Yeah, like you do too, of course. We can
to
tell
your
you're a
husband.
fashionable woman.
You must look fashionable.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm not trying to be sugar-coated, but I don't see any woman that can rub shoulders with me with my husband.
I love that.
I'm up to the stats. Yeah. I'm fashionable. I went to school.
Yes.
I know what to do. I know how to take care of my husband. So what do you have that I don't have? So
yeah, no, wait, the point is this. The point I am making is this. The woman that sleeps in the same bedroom with her husband and the one that sleeps in separate bedroom from her husband, they all have these qualities that we are talking about.
Yes.
They all have they have the qualities. It's just that the preference. I want to wake up in the morning and feel fresh and know that I have had a good night's sleep. I don't want to have a man who snores beside me and I keep having to go and tap.
I want to wake up with him next to me.
Okay,
no, it's in the next room.
No, I want to wake up with him lying next to me.
But keep in mind, even if you're sleeping in separate bedrooms, it doesn't necessarily mean 24/7, 365 days a year you're in separate bedrooms. I think we're talking more of a scenario whereby there's that option. Yes.
You know, I would like to cite an example. When I was still young, I normally liked lights on when I want to sleep. The light must be on. But when I got married, I discovered that my husband always liked the lights to be off.
So in that situation,
it was very, very difficult for me. But in a couple of months, because I loved my husband, I adapted. And now, today, I cannot sleep without the light on. I don't know how it's off.
It's the boys and girls that are clapping.
You get used to it. Okay. You get to used to it.
That is,
even if your husband, because you cited an example that a husband that snores.
It can also be the wife that snores.
It can also be the wife that snores. There are so many ways to it. You get used to it, one. Then even snoring, you can even educate your husband that you should start having exercise. Because snoring is sort of some blockage here. So he can grow out of it. And it's not only sleeping with each other that you are husband
I use snoring as an example. There are so many other factors.
There are so many things.
It could be the one that is very restless.
Yeah, it could be the one that is restless. And it could be the one that, for example, in my own case, my husband likes whenever he wakes up, the doors will be doing bam.
It wakes everybody up.
Bam, wakes everybody up. And I had to call him that, please, all these doors, whenever you are going out, do it gently. And he has adapted to it, and we are one big family.
Couple, you see, we are making it sound as if those who sleep in separate bedrooms don't have a happy home. No, they do have a happy home. They have a stable home. It is just a question of choice. Choice that has been agreed, that has been compromised by both parties. I'm not going to say, look, I must have my own bedroom. We have to sit down and discuss
and talk about it.
And talk about it.
Most times it has to be the man's decision anyway at the end of the day. I don't think when a man and a woman are getting married, the woman can tell the man, hey, when I get married to you, I will take my own bedroom. I don't think so. What do you think?
What I feel
I think it's the man that will have
the situation. It can be agreed
by the woman saying so.
No, it can be. I say it's a discussion.
What I'm saying is a discussion. Who would have brought it up? It has to be a man's discussion. That's what
it might just work out that way. You understand? As time goes on, okay, woman, you have too many shoes.
Yes.
You have I have a whole room full just for clothes and shoes. Half of them, we don't wear. But it's there because I don't even want it in my own
sleeping space.
So it could just be, if you have a big enough house, how about that, Princess? If you have a big enough house and you just find yourself, okay, you're in a separate room, that doesn't mean in the evening you're not still hanging out in your husband's room. How about that?
I have a separate room that I put my dresses and everything, but I don't sleep there. I don't even want it to be my room. Okay. I don't sleep there. And in that same room, my husband too has his dresses there.
So that's like a walk-in wardrobe.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a walk-in wardrobe. But we don't sleep apart. We don't.
That is your own arrangement, and you know, especially young couples and starting up couples. For those the couple who is just starting and don't have the luxury of having so many rooms. Maybe they have 2 bedrooms, and there's a relative.
You know,
living with
sleeping
them.
together too can even give you long life.
Please explain that to us.
It's true.
Explain, please.
Because, you know, if you are not happy, it will create a lot. It will create a lot of disease within you,
Exactly.
like insomnia and all this
If you're
stuff.
not sleeping with someone, you cannot sleep.
When
Sleeping
people sleep
apart, it's not-
it's
Yeah.
not necessarily
It's not
because
because they are
they're
not.
unhappy.
They don't have a rapport.
You left your mother's house and your father's house
To cling on to
be
your husband.
in love with somebody. Why do you have to?
We are still going back and forth on this. The fact that you sleep in the separate rooms doesn't mean the absence of love.
We gave a
does
lot
not
of
mean the
reasons.
absence of love.
We gave a lot of reasons now. Probably he's snoring and really you probably have to study as a lawyer or whatever. You have a case the next morning. Okay, you know what, honey? I'll be right back. Let me
Or you are a
just be in my
broadcaster, you
room.
have early morning
schedule,
schedule,
you
you have to
understand?
leave the house at 5 a.m.
It could
and
be-
you have one man who is
That does not stop
depriving
you
you
from
of your
studying.
sleep.
If he's
does not-
snoring, princess, I'm
No,
not.
if you want to study,
That's different.
that's different.
There are different levels of snoring. oh.
When it's time to
Let's
sleep, you
clarify.
should come back and sleep.
You can
on the
get
bed.
your husband out of it.
There are some levels of snore. There are some snoring that will bring
I think it's a
down
recurrent.
those
That one is the one that
It's
has
because-
recurrent habit.
It's because you are not sleeping soundly. That's why you are hearing that somebody is snoring.
If there's some kind of snore, there's some kind of snore.
Those ones that will pause.
Exactly.
Now will stop. You will think
And it's not
It's
only
not
for
a
snoring,
sorry
it's
sleep.
for
Because whenever you sleep, you sleep.
Let me give you an example. You are a couple, and either you or your husband, you travel. You don't see each other for a few days. Do you know the expectation of having to welcome him back to the house? It's not the same as when he was there all the time.
I just say welcome.
No, but the problem is
do you
the bed.
understand?
You can't even sleep if you're used to sleeping with someone on a bed. Once he travels, the bed feels so big
No, it doesn't.
and so empty.
It
Well,
doesn't.
maybe that's Silo's experience, and of
Yes.
course Silo is like princess.
Yes.
How about the children? How many children do you have?
I have 3.
3, and they're grown now.
Yeah.
But when they were babies, a lot of time children are drawn towards their mothers or even fathers. A lot of times, and they will come. How about when the children come and maybe the other person will be like, you know what? Let me probably give you and the kids your own playtime right now, and they just happen to doze off in the other room.
Well, to me, you don't allow, I love my children, but you don't allow one to encroach to the other. Yes, he's their father, who will spend some time a little, throw pillows against each other, play a little time before we go to bed. But everybody goes to each other's room.
Okay, so
Because-
your children didn't.
No,
what
they
age
don't.
did
We
they?
don't. They have their rooms.
Okay.
Because, for example, when you find a child that grew up with love, you will know that child.
Princess, you still think people that share separate rooms are
I
not?
think so.
What
I
about
know
if on
so.
the basis of health reason or spiritual purposes?
Spiritual.
Yes.
And they want to fast.
I don't know
If you
about
want to
spiritual.
fast,
You
some
want to
people say fast for 70 days, some say
If-
fast for 50 days.
If I want to
So-
fast, that does not mean we can't sleep
on
in
the
this.
same
It
bed.
is an agreement, my dear. I'm in prayer and fasting. It's an agreement, and you don't get tempted.
Princess Laya Okelwo, and as you can see from our co-hosts here, they are staunchly for leaving your mother and father and clinging in your matrimonial home on one
and
single
sleeping in one
matrimonial
bedroom.
bed.
Yes.
Amen.
On
And
one
with
bed.
that note, we are coming right back. More discussion on couples that sleep in separate bedrooms, and but according to Princess Leia, must be one room, one couple. We'll be right back on the Amazon.
You can be one room, two beds.
You can be one room, two beds.
There's also the issue of saying, okay, because I want to fast. I want to pray and fast. Hey, the Bible says the husband and the wife are one. If we decide to fast, now someone said, what if you are tempted?
Yeah.
The successful fasting is the one that the man or the woman was tempted but did not succumb. So, it is not fasting. It is not fasting if you don't go hungry.
It's been, what will I say, very animated here on Amazon this evening. You know, today it's, the topic is couples and married couples, married, of course, couples who sleep in separate bedrooms. And we've had...
They may not be married.
Well, we advocate for married couples.
They can have partners who sleep in separate bedrooms. Why many more couples are sleeping? The couple cannot be.
They might not be married.
They might not be married. But although we in this instance we want
against that.
Yeah.
We want you to be married and do things according to
exactly.
the principles of morals.
Princess Leia's principle.
Yes, you know, and spiritual correctness, spiritually correct. Yes, we're not going to sugarcoat that. I'm not ashamed to say that. Right. So anyway, we've it's been animated. There have been two different. There's been
two different camps.
Yes, there've been two different camps. But we've had a guest who was staunchly for make sure that you do things the traditional way and sleep in the same room as a couple. Now, right now we have another guest coming up, and we're going to hear what he has to say on this very. Would I say controversial?
Yes, we've heard from the woman. Let's hear from the man.
Yeah, so let's hear from the man. Welcome to the stage. He's a husband, of course, and a public analyst. His name is Best Man Uche Jumbo. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome. Hello, Best Man. Welcome to the show. So, which one is the best as a man, like your name suggests? Do you, first of all, do you share the same room with your wife, or do you have separate bedrooms?
We share the same bed.
Okay.
Yes.
We share the same room, but yet we still have
Rooms.
separate rooms.
Yes.
But we share the same bed, we share the same room, but we have separate rooms.
Day in, day out. 365 days a year, you both are in. How much time do you spend together in that room? Maybe
probably my case is peculiar
because
for some time now, my wife and kids are outside. They live outside Nigeria, and I'm here. But while we are together, we share the same bed.
Your case is different now.
How often is she here?
But you see, I don't believe it's there's a straitjacket rule to it. Why? There are instances where the woman might decide to stay apart from the man. It is not because there's any diminishing love or stuff. Okay, I'll give an example. When we had our first boy, that boy will not sleep at night.
Without his mom.
Not even without his mom.
It's just crying.
He will choose to cry at night.
It was colicky. They call it colicky, yeah.
They call it what?
Colic. He had colicky.
I have a lot of work to do the next day. So because of that, my wife will carry the baby and they'll be in the other room at least for some time. It is not because I had, maybe I was allergic to children, no. But circumstances just demanded it for such a time as that. But I knew that, I know that our parents had it then, sometimes for cultural reasons.
Like what? Like sleeping separately?
Okay. Yeah, staying separately. I remember the current minister for housing, Barrister Adi Fashola, made a statement recently. He said, there are houses that the federal government has built in the north that the people have refused to take. And he found out the men wanted separate rooms for their separate wives.
Wives, yes.
And for that cultural reason, they wouldn't take those houses. Now, in that regard, you see a man sleeping apart from the wife for a reason that's not even theirs.
Yeah, that is not, that is beyond their control.
Exactly.
This is religious,
Cultural, that might be cultural.
Religious and cultural reasons. But we are talking about a man who is married to one woman, who has one wife, and yet they sleep in separate bedrooms.
I had somebody say something about when you have issues, that because you're in the same bedroom, you resolve it faster.
Yes.
It might not be 100% correct. Because we've also had instances where the man and the woman had issues. If they had been in separate rooms, that woman would not have died.
You're talking about extreme cases of domestic violence now.
Violence, exactly.
Yes.
If they had been in separate rooms also, probably that would have been averted.
For everything to calm down.
Exactly. So it is not a boxed-in rule. But I think it is nice for the man and the woman to sleep on the same bed. But if
doesn't matter the room.
It doesn't matter. It could even be in our room. I might decide for this month, this week, we're going to stay in your room. It's fun. But people want to, we're used to missionary everything, which it could be, but it's nice to always be together as much as you can.
Okay.
But
do you snore, best man? Have you, has your wife ever complained about you snoring?
She's never complained, but I know she tells me that sometimes I snore.
Okay.
But snoring, in medical terms now, I think it's both sexes. It's not just about the man now. A lot of women snore now.
Yeah. We know that. It's not only, seriously, it's not only the men that snore.
I was reading recently the percentage of women that snore now.
But women snore.
A lot.
Yeah, sure.
I
But when
snore.
you talk about snoring, no, women snore.
I said I
Oh,
snore.
I thought you said, are you sure?
I said I snore.
I can hear myself snoring.
I can hear myself snoring sometimes.
And you snore yourself awake.
Yes.
And then you come back and you are awake. Do you understand? So it is not only the men that snore. There are other factors that will make, for there to be harmony even in the marriage. For there to be harmony in this marriage, and for there to be that love, for you to sustain it, you need some time apart, even at night. I don't know if you get what I mean.
I do. There's also the issue of saying, okay, because I want to fast. I want to pray and fast. Hey, the Bible says the husband and the wife are one. If we decide to fast, now someone said, what if you are tempted? The successful fasting is the one that the man or the woman was tempted but did not succumb. So, it is not fasting. It is not fasting if you don't go hungry. But it is fasting that you went hungry but you didn't eat.
Have you also considered the fact that when it can be the man or the woman who is undergoing this spiritual exercise, and they are so resolute about sticking to whatever the religion they are fasting for says. And the man says, I am the head of the home. This is what you should do, and this is what... That can also cause friction. I don't know if you get what I mean.
It can cause friction, but at the same time, even when you stay apart, if that couple is not a disciplined couple, it could still happen. It boils down to, who did you marry? Because I had somebody say the new generation like to stay apart. It's not true. Our parents stayed apart more. This generation are the root generation. They stick to their husband.
Yeah, I think because I think I would tend to, because I envisioned, back then, where where your father
the cultural
was
thing
like
was stronger
the
then.
king. You could not even go into his room. You know, even your mother was like, careful, oh, that is
I think
don't
those
make noise.
who insist on sleeping in the same bedroom are insecure in their marriages.
Who insists?
Insecure.
I don't think
But
so.
do we
Yeah,
take it as a
hold
case
on.
of being
Because
do
no,
people
it's
insist?
their choice, like you said
No, it's
before.
not a choice. I mean, if you know your wife, you know your husband very well. Especially in most cases, know your husband. Okay. The women who say they must sleep in the same bedroom with their husband, most of the time they want to know what the man is up to when they are not there, especially at night. Do you read the pages of magistrate and where do they go for divorce?
Customary courts.
Customary courts. Yeah. Do you read those cases on the customary courts?
Okay, yes,
you know, the one is called texting. I went through his phone. For some kind
No,
of
but it doesn't mean that you have, because you're
but-
staying together,
but
that's when you go through his phone. Even if you were staying in a different room, you can sneak in there and pick up his phone.
Sure.
So it doesn't mean
You want
because
to
you
know
want to
what
stay.
the man is doing
I don't think so.
24/7.
I think you want to be around him
when
more.
you are in the same room with him at night,
You
it
will
will
not
be
see him.
difficult for him to get up and say he's going to.
He will find a way
He's
about
going
it
to
if he
watch
wants to.
television.
He will find
going
a
to
way.
watch television
No, he
in
will
the
find
sitting
a way
room.
about
When
it.
you look at this, how many hours do you actually spend together, sleeping together? Except it's a jobless home. The woman goes out, the man goes to work, and you're back. Probably you're still with the kids. 10, 11, I don't see men that will sleep before 10 nowadays. I don't know.
Oh, 11,
I can't imagine myself sleeping before 12. And I got to wake up very early to hit the town again. So how many times do you really have to say you want to start checking out some things? I think, like you said, insecurity affects a lot of things.
Exactly.
Yes.
But when you marry a confident man or a confident woman, whether you stay apart or whether you sleep apart or not, you won't read meanings into it.
drop your phone
It might just be circumstantial.
So, best man, you're just totally for a family that sleeps together.
I prefer a family that
remains
sleeps together. I prefer it. But
Personally.
if circumstances call for few days, few hours apart, some time apart, like I'm going through now, which I'm not enjoying,
Okay.
then you give into it. You don't make it a law via insecurity, like you said.
Okay. I absolutely agree with you on that. Sila, you got a question for?
No, because I mean, as usual, I'm in support. You know, I'm totally in support.
Okay,
you
but
know.
how about like other like what do they call them? Like the monarchs now, they sleep apart, and that is according to culture.
That's
because
culture.
They believe that people of such high standards shouldn't have to deal with the. It's called falling leg syndrome. You know, where you carry your leg and
Don't forget there was a time that the taboo or the cultural restrictions concerning women that are in their period. It was a problem too then. Then it was like when the woman that's in her period sleeps with you on the same bed, it's got some negative consequences.
give you bad luck.
But we've grown above all that. So that could also have necessitated, have your separate bedroom. So when you are this time of your life, of the month, you stay apart from the man.
But sometimes the woman might even want to do that because she might just feel more,
on her own.
okay, I just want to be on my own for
That-
these few days.
but then it used to be more of a cultural and there were sentimental attachments to such things then.
Okay.
Unlike now, where knowledge have come to tell us that, hey, you can even be with your wife on the same bed and she's an appearance.
And you
won't
won't have
even
a
know.
clue.
Yes.
There are some things they use now which I've forgotten the name. They won't even know that the woman
So
is.
obviously that doesn't bother you when your wife is going through.
It doesn't bother me.
Okay.
It shouldn't bother anyone.
Why should it?
Some men don't like the sight of blood.
Who's going to show
But are you
them? They
going
won't
to
even
show
know.
that there is blood?
They won't even know.
I mean, if you're with your husband in the room,
80%
sometimes.
of such men
it's not in
have
public
meanings
now.
attached to
You
it.
won't know.
Pardon?
80% of such men
That don't want to
have
see
some
blood
meanings attached to it.
Why?
Because they grew up learning that when a woman is
On her
at this
period,
period of
she's
her-
unclean
of the
or
month,
something.
Don't eyes
She's
unclean.
unclean.
It's going to affect you.
Want to display
No,
open
nothing
part
to
of the
really
keep up.
prove that.
Like there's
Like
some
them.
churches that you can't go in once you're on your
Exactly.
period.
Exactly.
That is so. We're under the dispensation of grace, so it should not be
So
like
everything
that.
is
Yes, it should not be like that. So thank you so much. Best man, Uche Jumbo, on that one. We'll take your advice on a lot of things. And we wish you and your wife all the very best and many, many more years of bliss. Yes? Okay. Thank you very much. It's fun on the Amazons today. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
We are married to sleep together. We are married to stay together. We are married to share our bed together. That is why we are husband and wife. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thanks. I can see we're all, you know, my co-host also, we're enjoying this rather serious but lovely discussion because we've looked at a lot of angles when it comes to couples that have separate, bless you right there. When we have couples that have separate bedrooms, you know, we've had Princess Okelwo come on, she was, what did I say? Before I was saying it was traditional until the gentleman came on to say our parents actually had separate, more often than not, had separate bedrooms.
No, you're talking of separate bedroom. We're talking of sleeping together. The issue of separate bedroom is not debatable.
With them, if you had a separate bedroom, you would sleep together.
Back in the days, they used to sleep in different rooms.
Yes.
But recently, what we're talking about is many people have separate bedrooms because, like you said, you want to keep your clothes, your shoes, or whatever, or he wants to keep his own. But it's the act of sleeping together at night.
Yes, we're looking at couples that sleep together at night, and we're looking at couples that do not sleep together at night by sharing separate bedrooms. We've looked at all the aspects, but this time we're going to look at, would I say, the spiritual aspect of this wonderful topic of the day.
She's a counselor, right?
She's a counselor, I think, a marriage counselor. Yes, she's a marriage counselor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Pastor Grace Nwachukwu. Welcome, please have a seat. Thank you.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Welcome, Pastor.
Thank you.
How do you like to be?
It's good to have you here.
Pastor
Gloria Godwin.
Gloria Godwin.
Nwachukwu.
Yeah. Okay. You're a marriage counselor?
Yes, by God's grace.
By God's grace. So do you counsel couples that sleep in separate bedrooms?
Yes.
And is it a problem or it's just the norm for them?
It's a problem.
It's a problem?
When they don't have to share their bed together.
Okay.
Couples are expected to sleep together. That is why they are couples.
Is this according to, of course, you're a pastor, you're a Christian, yes? And so are you saying that based on biblical rules or?
Generally.
Okay.
We are married to sleep together. We are married to stay together. We are married to share our bed together. That is why we are husband and wife. Yeah.
And that's why it's called a matrimonial bed.
Okay.
I said, and that's why probably it's called a matrimonial bed. If you had separate beds, which of the beds would be referred to as a matrimonial bed?
Anyone that you sleep in as a couple is a matrimonial bed.
Sleeping together helps also bond together. It helps us to knit together. It bonds us together. Even when we are quarreling, you just find out that you can't sleep well, okay, until you make peace with one another.
But did you listen to a guest now? I don't know if you've been following, and there have been some incidents whereby, like the guest said, if there was some time to calm down, and I'm just, envisioning the situation whereby the quarrel is carried into the bedroom and somebody snaps. So if they had separate bedrooms and slept separately, maybe, just maybe, it would have calmed down and people's senses would have come back. So what about that scenario?
Not in all cases.
Okay.
But it can't, there's a probability. It has happened in some cases that we know.
Yes, it happens in some cases.
And it's been extreme.
Yes.
And fatal.
Yes.
Pastor, would you say those cases would be a lack of fear of God?
It has to do with individual upbringing. We must first understand what marriage is all about. That we are married to stay together. We are married to go through our stress together, our challenges together, whatever the marriage brings up at every given time.
Yeah, but
we are married to sort things out.
How does sleeping in separate bedrooms not make you go through all of this together?
That is why we are married together. We can't separate ourselves. We stay together.
You are in the same...
Sometimes, maybe when you are fasting, or maybe you have something to do, you get out of your bed, you do what you have to do, get back to your matrimonial bed. I always counsel that we stay together every night, except we have to travel or something. We stay together.
In this instance, some people have said staying together is to show good example to the kids, is to show that there's love in the marriage, is to show bond in the marriage. But I don't see how not sleeping in one matrimonial bed, as you have introduced that word now, and sleeping in the same bedroom in one matrimonial bed does not put all of this together.
Are you saying once in a while, or
that, you know,
everyday activity?
They have different sleeping arrangements, and only when maybe they want to go and be together is when they visit each other's rooms.
You stay together. There's this spiritual, aroma that goes within us as couples when we sleep together. We bond, we blend. It's a spiritual thing more than physical thing. It helps us to stay together.
But you mean like because marriage is honorable, the bed undefiled, that really means you have to be together?
That has to do with when they are married. We're talking about when they are married.
Yeah, we're talking about married couples.
We're talking about married couples.
Yeah.
We are meant to stay together, sleep together. It helps two people to bond strongly together. That when we sleep, separately, when there are problems in the marriage, when you are separate and all of that, it makes you get stronger. You get used to not staying with your spouse and all of that. As you continue to sleep separately and all of that, you begin to feel you don't need your spouse and all of that. You just keep getting stronger. Before you know it, you begin to call for separation and divorce. But when you are always together, the fear of letting go is always there. You won't want to stay apart from, apart and all of that. You want to stay with your spouse. You want to sort out your differences and all of that. Before you know it, you want to talk about what is really actually the problem because you can't sleep. That's why you are two that has formed one. But when you are always by yourself and all of that, in no time you're going to call for divorce.
By yourself is when you have to go to sleep at night. And we are not saying that the husband and the wife, they don't sleep together at all. No. That's not what we are saying.
Okay.
We are saying that for convenience sake, for a peace of mind, for me to have a good night rest, my husband has some habits that will disturb my sleep.
Like?
My wife too has habits that will disturb my sleep. Okay, this arrangement of the room is not what I'm used to. This arrangement of the room by the husband will say this is so
welcome
tidy for
to
me.
marriage club. That is why you are in marriage. You grow to be together. You grow to understand all of those things and bear your weaknesses together. With time, you begin to learn to snort like your husband. That is where marriage becomes interesting.
Or to sleep, yes.
Yes, with time, you begin to enjoy snoring.
Yes.
When he travels, nobody is snoring. You begin to call him, darling, I can't sleep because I'm not hearing the music.
Because we are not snoring here.
Yeah, so it's wonderful. When you get married, anything you see afterwards, you have to bear it. Apart from the man hitting you or the woman, becoming violent, every other thing is something you learn and something you get used to with time. When you can't adjust, you begin to have problems. 10 years, you're still complaining your husband snores. 15 years, you are still doing, then you just refuse to grow up. You are not growing up
the coffee.
because this will remain here. This is a problem that will remain for the next 30 years, except there is divine intervention. So you get used to it because this is what is called marriage.
But would you pray about it though? Because you just said divine intervention.
Sometimes you pray about it.
Okay.
Sometimes you pray about it.
How about How about if a woman is or a man either is, is not tidy and the other one is a neat freak?
Yes, that's where our temperament is interesting.
Okay.
Marriage serves as a covering. My husband is not tidy, then that's where I'm there. I begin to teach him how to do it by doing it myself. It shouldn't cause problem. Because marriage is a covering. I procrastinate a lot. My husband is get up and go.
Okay.
If I have a program to do and all that, once I say it, I go and sleep. But if he says this, he begins to move and all of that. Okay. But with him now, I say something, I begin to move too. Because I have learned that from him.
Who have health problems, for those for health reasons, who then choose to sleep in the same, in different bedrooms, is that allowed? I mean, maybe one or either of the couple cannot sleep with the air conditioning on, or the room is too cold, or it's too hot. How do you handle such cases?
Sometimes we adjust.
How do you adjust to?
So the room is, because me, like you say,
I don't like AC myself. My husband
love
does.
AC. Okay, let's say we were married. Sorry, yeah. I perspire a lot. Okay. You know, I have a very high metabolism and stuff. You just said you don't like AC.
Yes.
Let's just pretend we're married now, and I like AC. The kids are grown. There are 5 bedrooms in the house. Would it be a bad thing for me to go and enjoy?
After 5 years of marriage, some things have to, lie low.
Okay.
After 5 years of marriage, you complain of what you complained first year in marriage, that marriage is likely going to have separation. They're likely going to separate.
Uncomfortable just because.
With time, you adjust to whatever. You adjust to one another. That's not bringing up here. There's no reason that it's strong enough. You keep adjusting.
These adjustments, you're making it sound so easy.
No. If not, you are not going to enjoy your marital, life and all that. You can't.
Yeah, you are going to enjoy it more when you have compromises and understanding.
Exactly. Or reduce things.
It depends on the compromise.
Yes.
It depends on the compromise. It's not in all cases. That's where marriage is tough.
Now, when you're saying this, I've heard you refer to the fact that, is it the woman that has to make that compromise, or it's two of you?
Two of them.
That have to come together to...
You have to make
the couple that is more matured.
Okay.
Keep adjusting until the other person comes to the knowledge of truth or certain maturity. The one who is seeing clearer, keep fighting, keep adjusting, keep building. Might be the man, it might just be the woman. Eventually, they bond to become one. That is where marriage is interesting.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was spirit-led, might I say, and for everybody that's been listening out there, I mean, it's your call, but I would say from our discussion today, I think we had more people, including Silo, that said stay together, sleep together. Married couples should be together in and share the same bed in one room. Well, the conversation continues. Follow us like us on Facebook, on the Amazons, on Twitter, we're at the Amazons NG, and on Instagram, we're the Amazons Official NG. So continue that conversation there. And until next week, don't focus on your problems, focus on your purpose. The Amazons.